Welcome, my dear viewer, to Dr. Paul Kibicho YouTube official page. And today, I want to share a very disturbing aspect in our Republic of Kenya. Something that, if you're not very careful about, may end up leading Kenyans to do things that are totally unacceptable globally. Any nation worth its name values education. When a nation fails to value education, then definitely that nation is headed to the dogs. We take pride of having so many institutions of higher learning. We have got so many tertiary colleges and institutions. But the question is, where do we take our people? Where are our people currently based, especially those who have gone through school? So we have got so many universities in Kenya. But I would like to mention a few things that really makes me feel bad about it. I do not know whether the government of the day or any other government that has been in power has ever taken stock of people who have gone through school in Kenya, who have been able to graduate, who have got bachelors, who have got masters, who have got doctorate degrees, and what their current status are. Because any nation should keep data, or data for that matter, for the people that it has educated. So when you talk about literacy levels, yes, we talk about literacy levels based on the number of people who can be able to read and write. But that is not all. Literacy level does not only include reading and writing. We need to ask ourselves, what kind of legacy do we leave to our children? Do we motivate our children to go to school, or are we killing their dreams, or where are we as a nation? And one person said that if you want to bring down a nation, fail to recognize the education of the people that lives within that particular jurisdiction. Any nation that grows, or any nation that has made a lot of developmental breakthroughs, is purely dependent on how it treats its educated masses. If you go to China, for instance, we have got young children in the levels of CBC who can be able to mount a computer, a laptop. They are the ones who make even watches. They are the ones who even make what we call phones. But here in Kenya, we have a university graduate who cannot be able to do that. Why? Because he only went through an education process that was not actually enabling. What does that one mean? We need to ask ourselves as a nation, where do we place education in Kenya? I am personally one member who has been affected by the status, and therefore when I speak, I have the moral authority. We saw, even in the current situation, we saw some people literally being told to resign from their positions so that they can occupy government appointments. The government spent money, the nation spent money in terms of managing those guys who went through an electoral process. And after clearing that particular process, now a by-election is being called, not because of death, but because they seem to be more qualified and competent to serve within the government, and therefore they were requested to relinquish their positions so that they can be given other government positions. The question begs, is it that they have got very special skills? Is it that they have got so special traits that could not have been gotten from other people within the Republic of Kenya? Think of it. Come to think of it. Somebody is being told to relinquish his position so that he can be appointed to the cabinet. Fine. And that one occasions what we call a by-election that will now demand and again gobble more money, make the nation spend more money in terms of by-elections by virtue of somebody having been brought and given another job, as if out of 50 million Kenyans, we had no other competent parties to fit into their shoes. What a nation. What a nation. So any nation that does not, and I'm saying this without fear of contradiction, that it is not, yes, I'm educated, and of course, I really feel it, because I've gone through school. I have 1 degree, I don't have only 1 degree, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees. And I'm still hustling and struggling. And of course, I'll speak on my behalf, because the moral authority purely depends on the person giving this particular information. Does he merit to speak the way I'm doing? So first of all, think about it. Now, the question begs, why should we spend so much money holding by elections because some individuals were recalled, or rather, they were told, get out of your positions, come and occupy other offices? I want anybody who does critical thinking to answer me this question. I'm again back on education. Why is said that many patients in Kenya, they are actually rushing to India for treatment. Yet we have doctors who have gone through the process, but we don't trust our very own. So what does that one then leave us? It tells us that the institutions that produced these graduates, they had not met the threshold of qualifying people to become medical doctors. Is that the position, Lily? So why is it that we are having FADS drive almost every weekend to have our brothers and sisters taken to India for treatment, yet in this Republic of Kenya we have universities that offer medical courses? Something must be wrong. So we must learn to trust our institutions. We must learn to trust the products that come out of those institutions. We must learn to give education value. It is quite unfortunate, and I'm saying this because it's something that pains my heart. Every year we have thousands of graduates getting out of universities, but who bothers know where they went? How many have been given scholarships by the government? How many have been given opportunities and platforms to practice whatever they learned from those universities? I am a lecturer. I'm currently marking all these exams. I'm marking all these exams because I am part of the education system of the Republic of Kenya. I know the kind of information that we give. I have had the privilege of going to other universities out there. But I'm saying the question is, do the people in power recognize education? Right now, we are talking about CBC. I have no problem whatsoever with CBC. I'm actually an advocate of CBC because all along, I've been talking about nurturing that special trait that a child has. So if a child is good at agriculture, we need to nurture that element or that special blessing, that special talent that God has given to this particular child, as opposed to giving this child what we call blanket condemnation. But what happens in the Republic of Kenya, I have been part of this system, is that if you get an A in mathematics, then you get a D in English, a D in Kiswahili, then you are given a blanket condemnation. The question comes, isn't there some disciplines globally or in the world for that matter that requires this specific, unique talent that one has been given by God? So CBC is good, but the question is, who are the proponents of these ideas? Why do we, when we talk about having a youth affairs ministry, why didn't we put an octogenarian? Why didn't we put somebody who is 80 years, 70 years, 90 years? It is purely because we need somebody who can align with this particular segment of the population. Similarly, even when it comes to matters education, I know I'm not ignorant. Education has been divided into so many areas. We have what we call basic education, we have high school education, we have what we call institutions of higher education, higher learning, we have universities and tertiaries. I appreciate. But I'm saying, when it comes to matters CBC, we require to have that person learning that particular docket who is familiar and who is currently experiencing the challenges that parents go through, but not bringing somebody who is 2-5 decades ahead of what is currently happening. It is purely because, are you telling me that we don't have young graduates, we don't have young doctors who have cleared their PhDs, who have cleared their masters, who are still bringing up their children who could have fit in those particular dockets? I'm not here to challenge the government of the day anyway. I'm only giving my input. So if we don't value our education, why do we have to go looking for engineers from China? Yet those engineers in Kenya who graduated, they are still tamaking, and tamaking has become part of their profession. Why aren't we absorbing all the doctors in the Republic of Kenya? Why aren't we making, by the way, as a matter of fact, many doctors who treat patients out there in those other nations, it is purely a product of brain drain. Because they have not been valued, we do not compensate them enough, yet the people who get paid a lot of money, they are the ones who never even maybe saw the inside of a university. I have no problem again because that's how it is. But I wonder, why should somebody who is actually a member of a county assembly earning more than a professor, honestly? Does it make sense? Why should somebody who is actually a member of parliament be paid what we call the sitting allowance, be paid over 900,000 shillings, whereas a doctor who took 6 years, somebody who studied medicine and surgery for 6-7 years, be paid 100,000 shillings? Does it make sense? So where is the motivation? Why should I tell my children, for instance, to go to school and study, yet they can see the education I have so far has not given me any benefits? It is the high time we started recognizing education in the Republic of Kenya. We cannot be going for architects outside Kenya. We cannot be going for engineers outside Kenya. We cannot be sending our patients outside Kenya and promoting other nations through what we call domestic tourism at the expense of our economy. Where are we as a nation? Why is it that people who seem to be knowing what ought to be done are ignored by the powers that be? Why is it that some things don't add up? They don't make any sense. So we must value our education. It pains me a lot. And because I have gone through education and I understand what it means to be educated, it takes time, energy, and resources for a university to produce a PhD. It takes time, space, and finances for a student to clear a master's degree, even a bachelor's degree. And therefore, what would be the motivation? Now, we talk about job creation. We talk about job seeking, job creation. How do we create jobs in an environment that does not recognize this most precious gift called education? I'm calling upon the stakeholders in the Republic of Kenya. I have decided to speak because most of us educated people, we remain mum, we remain mute, and you shouldn't worry. This is life and nobody will die from 6 in the morning up to 6 in the evening. Dying is dying at whatever hour, at whatever moment. We must say as it is. We need to take education and give it the seriousness it deserves. Otherwise, if you continually trash education, then sometimes you even wonder. I have had some parents who have been giving money for what we call exam leakage. For what? Leakage to do what? Let your child study. Let your child go through this particular process so that he can become a very well-defined person in life. And then the government of the day must recognize those students who have done well. The government should even absorb those who have done well. It is the high time that we embrace what we call meritocracy. If we continually embrace mediocrity, then our education system is doomed and people will continually get out of this nation. So if we are going to promote patriotism in the Republic of Kenya, we must recognize those who have done well. We must actually recognize the competencies, the skills that individuals have, and they get opportunities, equal opportunities. It shouldn't be that because my father was not a chief, my father was not sub-chief, my father was not a paramount chief, my father was not a principal, my father was not a DO. Therefore, because the name of my father does not appear anywhere in the records of government in terms of positions, that I also become neglected. No way. We should embrace what we call meritocracy. We should avoid nepotism. We should avoid favoritism. And we should not judge people by who their parents were. So we should judge people by what they have between their 2 ears. If this nation can go that way, then we are assured of a happy nation. Hebu tafakari hayo.